stop is Buckley. The next stop is Garden Centre. The next stop is Petrol Station. The next stop is Kent Way. The next stop is Language Way. The next stop is Hibby Road. The next stop is the Prince Albert. The next stop is Village Hall. The next stop is Copthorne Church. The next stop is Abergavenny Gardens. The next stop is Cottage Place. The next stop is the Duke's Head. This is the Crawley Metro Rider, Ego and Plus Bus Family stop. The next stop is Westport. The next stop is Sandy Lane. The next stop is Forge Garage. The next stop is Crawley Down War Memorial. The next stop is Sunnymere. The next stop is Royal Oak. The next stop is Bowley Close. The next stop is Larches Way. The next stop is Tilford Drive. The next stop is Holcombe Drive. The next stop is Machiva Close. The next stop is Spellbridge School. The next stop is the Star Inn. The next stop is Spellbridge Hotel. The next stop is Inverhall School. The next stop is Fairlawn Drive. The next stop is Eco Drive. The next stop is Glen Avenue. The next stop is Kipling Way. The next stop is Railway Byway. The next stop is Buttonwood Way. The next stop is Brooklands Way. The next stop is East Grinstead Station. Arrived here at the Bluebell Railway. The next stop is Broadway. The next stop is Whitehall. The next stop is East Grinstead War Memorial. The next stop is Sackville College. The next stop is Sackville School. The next stop is Farm Close. The next stop is Harmons Mead. The next stop is Court Crescent. The next stop is Field Court. The next stop is Turner Court. The next stop is The Lodges. The next stop is Grimsland Church. The next stop is Memorial Hall. The next stop is Swallowfield. The next stop is St Piers Lane. The next stop is Lingfield Racecourse. The next stop is Station Road. The next stop is Lingfield Station. The next stop is Portsmouth. The next stop is Paxton Road. The next stop is Gladstone Road. The next stop is Lingfield War Memorial.